Well, these are the stories we're tracking this hour, and with me physically in the studio to analyze this, we have Charles Fakroha, iBrandTV's senior analyst. Well, before we launch into that, today is Charles Fakroha's birthday. So from iBrand Business Breakfast, we say happy birthday, Charles.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, many more years to come.
Thank you.
Well, we shall launch into the discussion proper. We'll start with the topic making the rounds. That's the fuel scarcity. What do you make of the fuel scarcity situation in Nigeria so far?
Well, thank you very much, Dapo. Some people will say, anyway, we're already in the festive period, and it's always what happens during festive period. But must we go through this when we are approaching festive periods? People are even justifying it. It's a normal thing now. When December is coming, we'll have this, you know. But again, looking at it critically, it shows that is the government not in control or not in charge again? What happens? Where is the substantive minister for petroleum? What is the minister for state petroleum? What is going on? Where is the old DPRO?
Yes.
You know, these are agencies and authorities in this sector that are expected to ensure that fuel gets to the ordinary Nigerian. In fact, everybody is affected. I couldn't get fuel yesterday for my wife's car.
Oh.
And in the evening, we just needed just 5 liters of fuel. And you guess how much we got it? 300 naira from black market.
On black market.
You know, so again, when you see all this, you begin to wonder, what is actually the problem? The marketers are telling us that NNPC did not sell fuel to them, and that they got it from third parties, and they are paying over 200 naira for a liter of fuel.
According to one report, Ipman is saying he cannot get, while the marketers, major marketers, no man say they can't get because they had a conversation with the NNPC. But Ipman is saying they can get. So
what's the way forward? What is going on? The average Nigerian is not interested in all this their talk. What we want to see, let this fuel be available. But whether you are rich or poor, fuel scarcity affects everybody because we don't even have power. So the little, is it a better pass my neighbor generator people have these days, at least with 5 liters, they'll be able to have power for at least 2-3 hours. They charge their phone, they do some other basic things. If you are the type that use a borehole, you want to pump water, you know, at least you have those basic things. That is what we are just asking for. It's not as if we're asking for anything too big. And yet, looking at the queues today, this morning, everywhere is jam-packed. And I don't want to use that famous Nigerian musician, it is everywhere jaga jaga.
Everywhere.
You know, and one will say Lagos is jaga jaga. Well, of course, it's not other part of the country. But I think we cannot continue like this.
You definitely can. But we're still going to look at this more in the second part of the program. Let's go to the second story that we're tracking in this hour. That's on food, bread to be precise. Bakers are calling on the federal government to subsidize the cost of cassava flour, not the normal wheat flour that we used to make bread, but they're calling on an alternative now to subsidize the cost of the alternative. What do you make of this?
Well, that should have come long ago because it's always good to have alternative for product. I think in the last regime, they were trying to popularize the cassava flour for bread baking and all that. Yes, bread is a staple food for the average Nigerian. Of course, if you live in the area where I live in Lagos, Festac, we have a lot of agege bread and agoin beans. It's a very delicious breakfast for everybody, you know. And if with what we are seeing now, the cassava that we produce so much, they want to now use it to start that's cassava flour to now baking bread.
To make bread.
Of course, the price will go up and all that. Yes, that is normal demand and supply, because if the demand goes up and of course the supply still remains the same, what happened? The price will go up. So yes, using cassava flour for me is a very good alternative to baking bread, but we should ensure that the supply is stable. There is enough people will use the cassava for what other reasons, and of course make it available to the master bakers for them to also bake their bread. I think that's where the Ministry of Agriculture should come in, so that to regulate the price of this. I'm not saying tell people how much to sell their cassava flour, but ensure enough supply, so that there will not be scarcity of that flour. Of course, if it is scarce, the price will go up. Definitely. And of course, what happens? I
think that's why they're coming in and say, oh, we can no longer afford wheat flour. Let's stick to cassava flour. But if we start using this cassava
price will
flour,
go up.
price will go up.
And
So
the price of ordinary bread now also, it's already gone up.
That's gone up.
I don't think there is anything like 100 naira bread any longer
My
again. It's just 200 naira bread and it's very small. So the government has that duty to ensure that in terms of food security, for God's sake, ensure that we produce a lot of cassava so we can have enough supply for the master bakers and of course for the other uses in which we put cassava into use. So government, Ministry of Agriculture, ensure that we have these cassava supplies, and thank God the research has been done. Cassava flour bread is equally as good as the other wheat flour or whatever we have been using. So I think it's a very credible alternative, and I must commend the Master Baker Association for even doing that capacity building for their members to be aware that yes, this alternative is as good as what they are used for.
Well, let's go to the Sukuk bonds now. The DMO has drummed support for the Sukuk bond, that it will aid infrastructure and financial development in the country.
Yes.
So what do you say about this?
Yes, that's a very good run from DMO. DMO has really done what they expected to do in terms of debt management, at least all the figures that they was giving us and all that. Yeah, but one particular area, where is this Sukuk bond now, which comes under Islamic financing, that most people get confused. Despite it is Islamic finance, Sukuk, it does not mean it is only the Muslims that will benefit from it. Now, you are raising these funds using that Sukuk bond. It's infrastructure, road, bridges. It's not only those who are Muslims that will make use of the bridge or the roads. And looking at it, do a little bit of research, you'll find out that those Islamic principles applied to finance are basically ethical products. They're not saying these funds will be used properly, interest will not be paid, but there's what they call leasing. Ijara, that's what the Islamic word for it. It's just trying to ensure that people are not being exploited when they give facilities, they subscribe to that, unlike where you lend money and the next thing I think of is paying interest. So for the Sukuk bond, that is a special arrangement, and it's going to benefit everybody. It's going to get financial inclusion, so everybody. So what the advice I have for DMO is do enough engagement so that those of us who are not Muslims will understand the principles behind that Sukuk.
I think that's one thing they are not doing very well. That education, they're not really educating the masses concerning this.
But I'll put it at the doorsteps of the regulators and of course the finance experts who are Muslims too. Get your colleagues understand these principles so that when they look at it, but for me, any person who has gone through the capital market training in terms of becoming a stockbroker, you will know that we always talk about ethics, and that's what the Islamic finance is all about.
Well, let's now go to the fourth one. That's one speaking about the capital market. They're calling on Nigerians to tap into the opportunities in the market. Do you think the stock market holds that key for many Nigerians in terms of wealth creation?
Yes, if you look at it very well, the capital market all over the world, Nigerian capital market without exception, is the barometer of the economy, and it has a major role to play when it comes to economic development.
Yes.
Look at the market. The regulator, the main apex regulator, that's Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. They had a 10-year master plan from 2015 to 2025, and of course they reviewed, and they've seen that certain important elements of that master plan has not been implemented, but they are still trying. We must give them kudos. But what I see, the problem involved here is that we are not actually getting the benefit of this capital market. One, I think there is the collaboration between the stakeholders has not been very tight.
Okay.
Of course, in the capital market ecosystem, you have so many professionals that are involved. The stockbrokers are there, the issuing house, financial advisors, so many, even the custodians, the registrars, so many fund managers, they are all involved. So all the stakeholders have to be together and agree that we want to take this Nigerian capital market to the next level. And thank God, SEC is playing that leadership role and ensuring that, yes, we get to that level. We believe that with this review of the master plan now, we believe that getting more involved, financial inclusion, and of course, tapping into the Nigerian capital market to meet economic development will be a reality.
Well, that's a very good place to end the conversation for today. We thank Charles Fakroha for coming on the show today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, still to come, the all-share index increased by 0.8% to close at 46,604.94 points yesterday. At the close of the market value stood around 25.3 trillion. We shall be looking at this when we come back from this short break. Thank you for staying with us.